Welcome to the Guy Pie Podcast, featuring Anthony, Chris, John, Sean, and Mark. This is a weekly podcast where five guys come together to make the ultimate conversational pie about the games they are currently playing.
All right, welcome to the Guy Pie Podcast. I'm Chris. Joining me today is John.
Hi. I'm glad you called on me first.
Oh, is that it?
No, there's more, but so I'm excited to actually talk about this. It's been anticipated for quite a while now, and I finally have it completed. It's Guy Pie Remastered. So what it is everybody's been waiting so long for us to remaster our episodes in a higher quality. If you can see on the left, that's the normal Guy Pie podcast, and on the right, that's the remastered version. As you can see, it's higher quality. It'll have better sound, and it's on my channel. It's called Guy Pie 2. I get full proceeds of it. The guys get nothing. So just watch us there instead, okay? All right, cool. Yeah. So anyways, yeah.
And Mark. Oh, are you muted?
Sure is.
I'm just like, he's not. Mark didn't. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
I was like, Mark didn't plan this, did he? Where he's
For
just
some reason, my mic keeps on muting me. Well, I was going to say I don't have that long of an intro, so I'm just going to say hello.
Kept it short and sweet.
Why does that keep on happening?
That's really weird.
That happened last time too.
All right. Anthony and Sean could not be here today. They are currently working on the remake of the remaster of the Guy Pie podcast. So it's going to be some things. All right. Starting it off with a game that has been talked about before, back when it first came out, is Dragon's Dogma 2. I ended up picking it up because it was on sale for $54 instead of like the $89. Decided I was going to give it a go. I put about 18 hours into it, and I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. Like, I think the gameplay is fluid. I like the whole job system they have in it. The game looks beautiful, but there are things like I don't like about it that I think have kind of like left me with the decision for now to step away from the game and not kind of play it further. Like, I'm not huge on the fairy stone system of like having to use that for fast travel. Especially with how expensive they are in game. They cost like 10,000 gold. I think that kind of hinders the experience of me wanting to explore because like it can be such a hassle to backtrack. I dislike the whole fatigue system where the longer you're awake, your health bar degrades and you can only heal up to a certain point. It really sucks when you're on these like far treks. Like basically I hit a breaking point where I was on a long trek to a new location, a new town, and I just kept getting into fight after fight after fight, and then my guy was getting more and more fatigued to where his health bar was like a little bit over like a quarter of my health I could actually have. And I went to a campsite to use camping equipment to like rest and get my health back. And I got raided while I was sleeping. So I didn't get any of the effects. It used up my camping supply. And I was just like, this is frustrating. Like this isn't it hinders the experience for me personally. Yeah. Again, there are a lot of like I would say like 80% of the game I really dig. It's just there are those issues that kind of like being back to full-time work, I can only put so much time into games, and I can't justify continuing to play it, at least right now. But, John, you played this back when it came out. You were pretty into it. What are your thoughts, like, this far out removed from playing it?
So I was really disappointed in it. Like it's good. It's not Dragon's Dogma. It's not the original Dragon's Dogma. The original Dragon's Dogma, I feel like, just had a certain charm to it that this game didn't. This game ended up being like super repetitive, and like you were saying, I had the same gripe where you had to walk everywhere and like fairy stones were far and in between. And the original Dragon's Dogma, if you had the Dark Arisen version with like all the DLC and stuff, like you had an eternal fairy stone, which you could you still have to walk to the places to put down a port crystal, sorry, and then you'd have to use the fairy stone to go back to that. But it was still a little more bearable that way. I believe like before the game was released, the creator said like, "Oh, you're gonna want to walk everywhere because there's so much going on in the world, like it's living, breathing, blah 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 blah." Really, it's not as living and breathing as he said. It's the same fights over and over and over again. Like the enemies will respawn and it'll be the same ones at the same spots, and there's no random events. You know what I mean? There kind of is like a pawn will walk up to you and say like, "Hey, do this quest," but it's the same bullshitty like fetch quests. I'm hoping when they do finally, if they do finally release DLC for this, it kind of takes the same formula as Dark Arisen and gives you that Eternal Fairy Stone. The best part of Dark Arisen, which was the Bitter Black Isles, which is kind of like a very large dungeon that you can explore with boss fights and everything. Hopefully they get the hint and they release something like that. That'd be amazing. They kind of did with, I'm not going to spoil it for you, Chris, because you're playing through. They kind of did, but not really. But yeah, I mean, I didn't play through it all the way. I couldn't bear to play through it all the way. I accidentally ran into the end of the game. Like, how do you accidentally run into the end of the game? It was not the best experience, honestly.
Yeah, like with what you said about how it got a lot better with like the DLC for the first game. I'm definitely completely open for like when they do like a first DLC for this with some quality of life changes. I'm definitely down to give it a go because like there is, like you said, there is like a lot of like there's a lot of good here, but like a lot of like you said, it kind of lacks that. Trying to think of a bit, like you said, it lacks that living feeling. Like one of my gripes too is not being able to swim. Like you go in the water and like these like tentacles just like attack you.
It was the same. It was the same in the original Dragon's
Oh.
Dogma too. You couldn't swim. It's kind of like pointless to swim. But I mean, at the same time, like it'd be easier to get here if you could cross the water from here. But yeah, I guess they just never had any intention of like water traversal. Like I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely I will give it another go eventually in the future, especially since like later down the line when I do get a pro, it's supposed to be I think it's supposed to be 60 frames on that. So like more smoother and all that. So I'd definitely be open to revisiting it once they've made some necessary changes. Mark, what are your thoughts on Dragon's Dogma 2?
Honestly, like I like the idea of the game, but especially with all the problems you guys are bringing up, to me, like those little bumps would definitely, like as you just said, Chris, how like with only your limited amount of time because you're working stuff like that, like I don't have the sort of like the past experience with the first game, so like I don't have anything really drawing me to that, and like I do like that type of RPG game, but like it has to be very specific. So the chances of me fully immersing myself in that game, I don't see happening, especially with those little like technical issues that you were talking about. So like and also kind of another thing as well, like where John was saying in the first one they released the permanent fairy stone thing as an unlockable. If that was received so well in the DLC, why wasn't that just placed into the game as a full thing for the second one. That doesn't make sense to me. But I'm sure there's a reason somebody could give for that. But for me, I don't think, like, even on a big sale, I don't think I would personally have like the attention span in order to properly like give the game like its due. So for me, I don't think this is going to be a game I'm necessarily going to be purchasing.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Another thing I just thought of, John, and like Mark, that I found really funny is like decisions for, like, granted, again, I haven't played like the first Dragon's Dogma, but like, so there will be chests around the map, and like I'll go into a shop and there's a shopkeep, and right behind him is a chest. I'll go to the chest and just open it in front of the guy, and he just nothing happens. They don't even notice you like opening the chest. Like there's like no system in place for these chests of like stealing. But like you'll have like areas where you can't go in, that like if you walk in and you're not wearing the same armor, like they'll immediately detect you. It's like very pinpoint accurate. They'll be like, "Get the fuck out of here!" So it's just like it's weird, like the lines they drew for like you can do this, but you can't do that kind of thing. Like,
And it's pretty messed up.
I had the same problem. It wasn't like an area you weren't allowed to go in, but there was like a house or something that if you walk into the house, all the NPCs in that area would like turn on you, and it was just super annoying because I'd have to like leave the town, rest for 24 hours, and then go back to the town just to be able to do anything in that town. So yeah, it's I don't know. They have some kind of weird like thing for like committing crimes in the game. Just like NPCs randomly attack you.
yeah, that's the thing. Like the resting thing that was driving me crazy too is like in one of the early towns you do get a house and like you can rest there for free, but otherwise the only other two ways to really get rest is if you have a camping kit, kind of like Baldur's Gate, Mark, where like you can
Yeah.
set up campfires. But like those, like each individual camping kit weighs like 7 pounds, and like you have such little room for carrying capacity that even if you have to try to have two on you, you're most likely like heavy, unlike until like you level up your weight capacity. But the other thing is inns to rest, but like the inns are expensive, and like so like ideally I would want to go back to the house in the game to rest, but like then I'm like, oh, but then I have to use a fairy stone to go back there, and then I have to use a fairy
Fuck.
stone to go back to where I was. So it's just like it honestly, I think I would keep playing if, yeah, John, like you said, if they had that infinite fairy stone thing, I think I would still be playing the game right now. Like, because like I think that's just the biggest thing that stops me from wanting to keep going 100%.
I do hope they add that at
Yeah.
some point. Like it's a huge gripe. It's a big roadblock for that game.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's just like during the initial start of the game, I don't really have an issue with like, oh, the fast traveling, like you need it costs stuff, blah blah blah. But if there's a way to unlock a quicker fast travel down the road, like it kind of evens out, where like, oh, this is like the low tier fast travel where it's like expendable, but then the high tier one you unlock at least in like the later half of the game. That makes more sense to me. But the fact that like it's always expensive and it's always encumbersome, so you always have to like either spend a long time doing monotonous things or not. Yeah, that to me, I don't vibe with that at all. It doesn't make any sense.
There was this like really funny moment. So outside of the fairy stones, there's like one other sort of like fast travel element, and it's called like ox carts. Um, so I in the early part of the game, you're able to kind of capitalize them a bit. So I was trying to do that, but the annoying thing is like you'll call the ox cart, you'll go on it, you'll doze off to waste the time, but more often than not, the journey gets interrupted by like a raid or like attack. It's never just like a straight like you go there. The one time,
Fuck.
it's like you're being raided and there's like a big cyclops. So I start fighting the cyclops, and as I kill it, its body falls onto the ox cart, destroying it. So I start walking. I see another ox cart. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hop on that, and I go on that ox cart. But it takes me back to where I came from, not where I was going. And so then when I got to where I was going, I had to call another fucking ox cart, and then I went in there, and then I got interrupted by another fucking battle. And I'm just like, I just want to go from here to here. Like,
I'm actually shocked that they
man.
haven't fixed that stuff yet. Like, it's been out for a while, and they have the ability to patch things and make it more enjoyable, but they don't. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know, because especially with the success from the first one, you would think that that was a lesson learned, and they would just do the right thing for this one. And that to me, that doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
yeah, it's fucking weird. All right, but any final thoughts on Dragon's Dogma 2 before we move on?
Make the infinite fairy stone thing
Do it.
now.
All right, moving on. Core Keeper. Mark, this is your first like week getting deep into it, so you can start us off.
Yes. Yeah. So I played this thing probably a little bit too much this week. Every time I get home from work, I'm like, few hours. No, not few hours, like a couple hours. Then I'll go to bed, and like I get home at 1. Then it's 5 a.m. Then I go, shit. Well, I'll finish this up real quick, and then all of a sudden, that thing that was going to take me 2 minutes took another half an hour. Going to bed, I wake up super tired. I'm like, I'm not doing that again tonight. Do the exact same thing. Then today, my body just shut down, and I woke up at 4 p.m., which hasn't happened in a long time. But yeah, game is fucking amazing. I love everything about it. There's like so much shit that you can get going that like it just builds up so much. Like I made an entire automated ore collection system where like I found all these permanent ore nodes. I put drills around them. I put a very long line of conveyor belts all leading back to this one area. And as me and John found out last night, you could set up a little robotic arm so it automatically pick it up and put it in a chest for you. And like it's just so much fun. And like just going through killing the enemies, finding the new areas. Like the boss fights aren't incredibly hard, but there is a level of difficulty to them that make them fun. So like everything about this game so far has just been a really great time. I'm really enjoying it, and I know I at minimum have 4 more main bosses, and I'm pretty sure there's more side bosses that I have yet to discover too. And the map is colossal. Like I spent like me and John, yes, they were playing it. We spent 2.5 hours exploring this, like getting up to this one area, and that we only went north. There's north, south, east, and west. And also there's an edge to that we can't currently get into that opens the map up even more once we get the mining power to get through it. So like there's so much to do in this fucking game and so much to explore. Like I was playing a little bit before I got onto here, and even then like there was some cool little islands and stuff like that in the water that had special little things on it that gave me unique items, and like that was just randomly exploring, and like there was no quest line, no nothing. It's just randomly exploring gives you rewards, and it's been so much fun. Like the base building, John's a little bit more into the base building aspect than I am, but like I just like building pretty much a massive hotel with a bunch of chests into it for all the people, and that's how I play the game usually. But I have been focused more on building in this one than I have any other sort of these types of games. So great game. Anybody who likes this style, like a Terraria-esque explorer, looter, building thing, phenomenal game. 100% get it. It's only, I think, after tax, it came up to like $29.50, something like that, and it's worth every penny, in my opinion. Perfect game of this genre.
All right, John, how are you feeling sinking more and more time into this game?
Mark pretty much said it all, to be honest, but playing with him last night, like I learned some stuff, he learned some stuff just just there's so much to learn about this game. It comes off as like super simplistic, but all in all, it is a real like it's a nice complex system, just nicely put together. Just amazing, like 24-bit like graphics, like great music, fun, difficult enemies. I think I only had a rough time with one boss, which was the Hive Mother, which I kind of cheesed. I like set up a little like moat a certain amount of blocks away from her, and then just like hit her with my minions. These little bat guys here. I just died. But yeah, it's been a good game, and even Mark, like he said, he played to a certain point, and then like he's like, oh, just one more thing, and then ended up waking up at 4 p.m. I last night I was like ready for bed, and I'm like, I'm gonna go back to my own world, and I'm gonna set up a little like mining like situation, and ended up staying up until 2 a.m., which is not not regular for me. I'm usually in bed by like 10, maybe 11, maybe 12, but yeah, I ended up staying up until like 2 in the morning just setting up this mining system. I set it up like right in my base too. Like I just go up here and get my ores, and man, like you can actually see where all these conveyor belts are, like crazy amounts of conveyor belts. And as I find more nodes, I will add more conveyor belts, and this game is going to consume me and everything. So it's good. It's really good.
A fucking blast play. Like it's no notes on the game, guys. No notes. Perfect. What? Oh, actually, one thing I do want to kind of like put on to like what we were just talking about for the Dragon's Dogma that I was saying. In this game, like finding teleport areas is fucking rare. Like teleport areas out in the map, like it's super rare. But once you get to a certain point, I did test this out before I got on there, John. Those teleport doors that you can make connect to all the waypoints, so you can just place them down wherever, and then it just takes 10 minutes for it to turn on, and then it's a permanent teleport point that you can place wherever the hell you want. So it's like for the game leading up to that point, because like this is like the you start off with copper, tin, iron, and then it goes to scarlet, and the current one I can't remember the name right now, but once you get to that point, then you unlock a fast travel thing where like you can set up areas that you could fast travel to, and you don't have to spend any additional resources on this thing. Because then, if you want to move it, you just break it. It goes back into your inventory. Then you set it up, and the only restriction is it takes 10 minutes to turn on when you set it up again. So like you have the option to get these one-time teleport back things, which can still be used. But then, like if it's an important area that you want to go back to, then you have to spend all that time getting back to it. But because you play the game and they reward you for the progress, now you can actually set up your own waypoints throughout the maps to teleport to, so you don't have to do all that traveling again, which is like super awesome.
Nice. That is like something. It was an aspect like, not to bring it back to Dragon's Dogma, but John, like I like that that concept of like the port crystals that are similar to that, where you just place them down, and it's like a teleport point. Like again, that had its flaws with like the other part of the teleportation, but anyway, I do always appreciate, like Mark, when you get into games like this, like you somehow almost find a way to become like corporate like in like your resource building, to where like it's just like it's like Mark's got like a whole fucking like system like in place. It's just like
I don't mind doing the initial resource collection, but if I have a way to automate that shit, it's getting automated. John didn't he built the workbench, but he just placed it down, never looked at it. So he's like, yeah, I don't know how to do these node things. And so he came into my world, and I had freaking all my nodes surrounded by drills, conveyor belts, all linking up and delivering all that resource to me. He's like, oh, like this thing costs like 100 Scarlet bars. I don't like that's pretty expensive. I'm like, Dude, I have 1,500 of them. Like, build it. They're fine. I have 1,500 of them, and I have another 700 being made right now. The game is just so fun. Like it is dangerous game to play if you have that ADHD brain, but goddamn, is it just so good to sink that time into. I haven't had this much fun playing these types of games since Terraria, and Terraria is one of my top games of this genre of all time for sure.
So I'm kind of curious. This game was the official release date this year for it?
No, it's
No?
been out for a
Oh,
while, I do
okay.
believe. But like, it's one of these games where they continuously updated it. It's like I'll look it up right now because
Basically, I
I
was gonna.
mentioned.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go.
I was
I
just gonna say basically what I was gonna get at. Like currently, is it your game of the year? But like, if it didn't come out this year, I would say like out of everything you played this year, then would this be your favorite experience this year for like the both of you?
like, it's tough because this is a different experience than like Warhammer is its own kind of experience. This is a different one. But like, it's that's a tough one because
This
like
is this is more of my like my going back to returning to just constantly playing game, whereas Astrobot was my game of the year because of like how creative it is and like how fun it was and just how return to like nostalgia like it was. This one is just basically like a lot of fun, and I mean it could be my game of the year, but like I don't know. It's like I don't want to compare it to like a mobile game, but it's kind of like a mobile game in that aspect where I wouldn't really make it my game of the year.
No, that's fair.
it's really fun for what it is, but like it's not necessarily a game of like it does have a lot to do in it, but it's not a game of substance where like this is just really really fun to play. But there is a story behind it, but like it's not necessarily the main focus. Where like a game with a solid story, it has that lineup of build up as you're going through it. You get those epic moments where like it's like, oh shit, like this is freaking crazy. Like that one moment in Warhammer where you get to it and it's just like this big epic scene. Like this game doesn't deliver that per se, but it does just like you can sink hours and hours into it and have a great time. So like it's game of the year. I don't think I would say it's my game of the year, but like it is like one of my top recommended games, I guess I could say, if you're looking into it. And it came out in 2022, so it's only
Oh,
2 years old.
nice. So yeah, it's not too old. I think the only other thing I would ask too is actually, so Mark, I know you were dead set on like the Warhammer Platinum, and then eventually moving on to Black Myth Wukong. With like this now in the equation, are those things kind of put on ice right now?
I'm probably going to save the Warhammer for playing on the weekends with you for right now because like I have to finish this game. It's not really an option at this point. I have to get to the end of this game and then I have to get the best stuff. I have to get to the point where the game becomes so easy that I don't want to play it anymore. But yeah, like it's just gonna be a minute before I get the Warhammer one for sure.
No, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. All right. Any final thoughts on Core Keeper before we move on?
Get it.
Play
Stick
it.
it in
Play
your
it.
mouth.
Just get it.
All right.
Stick it in your mouth and then automate it so it sticks itself into your mouth.
Next up, is Animal Crossing New Horizon. I did a thing. I got the Zelda Switch Lite. All right, here's what happened. I was really bummed with how that whole anniversary shit went down for the PlayStation, like the DualSense and the Portal. Like Best Buy was a shit show that day. Me and Sean both tried and failed desperately to try to get those limited edition stuff. I was bummed about it. And like ever since this thing was announced, I was like, it does like look really dope with like the gold coloring for like the light. So I ended up grabbing that, and then I decided to re-download Animal Crossing and play that, and I don't know, just hitting those cozy vibes again. I was just like kind of like going back to that point in the pandemic when we were playing the crap out of this, and just like remembering that Animal Crossing charm that it has, that kind of just draws you in. Granted, like I only played, I think, cause yeah, I got it yesterday. Like I only played like 4 or 5 hours, but it was just like a fun thing to revisit. I did end up doing the voucher thing that they have, the Nintendo vouchers, where it's like you can get 2 games for basically a reduced price. So I got Pokemon Violet, and then I got Fire Emblem Engage. So eventually I'm going to be trying those out. But no, yeah, it's cool to visit an Animal Crossing again. John, what are your thoughts on Animal Crossing New Horizons?
Funny enough, earlier on, I think it was, yeah, earlier on this week, I was looking for a game that my son could play. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to turn on Animal Crossing and let him fuck around in my world. Like, just, he doesn't have to do anything. Like, he could just walk around and see everything that I've already made, right? And just turning that game on, I was like, wow, I put so much time into this and so much effort into this. And like, it just brought back the memories of the pandemic and just, I think, did I get the Switch before I got? Yeah, I got the Switch before. No. Yes, I got the Switch before I got this game, but like I was like I need to get this game and it ended up being a blast because we got a huge group of people together like and we had a little party and like I think it was your world, Chris, and like oh man. And I could easily go back to Animal Crossing if I really like wanted to and I could do more. I think there's like DLC and stuff for it now too. Like
Yeah, I think they had
I
one expansion that they added
yeah,
on.
I saw something that you have to pay for, but I know they added like the diving and stuff, which was pretty cool. Um, I can't remember what else they added, but yeah, there's plenty of stuff that I haven't done yet. So I mean, I could easily go back to it. I might.
Mark, how about you? What are your thoughts on Animal Crossing?
I've never played Animal Crossing. It is a game that I think I could get into, but like I don't have that grand desire to play it. It does look like a fun game, and like if I was playing with like you guys while doing it, I could probably get into it a little bit more, but for me personally, I just don't think it's like my type of chill cozy game sort of deal. But maybe who knows, like I could play it and it could be my new Terraria for a little while. I don't know. It's just never been a title that's interested me fully. Also, I don't usually play my Switch and stuff a whole lot, so like getting it for that was never been a priority. I always focused on just like PlayStation games and such. So
I
yeah.
think I think I could draw Mark in with 3 words. And
Yeah.
Chris, you know what I'm gonna about to get at. Maybe turnip stock market.
Okay, I am in the group chat. Yeah, I did hear you guys talking about it. Okay.
Even better, like when you get far into the game, Mark, you can like fully like renovate your island, like add streams, and like you can basically a big thing is like on top of the turnips is like fruit trees and selling different fruits you get from islands. I literally picture Mark having an island of like of just basically factories of trees that he just like
Could just
fucking
automate it.
yeah.
Not
There's no
saying
way
that
to
I wouldn't
automate
do
it.
that.
There's no way to
Not saying
automate
I
it, but
wouldn't
he'd
do it.
figure it out.
Mark finds a way. He always finds a way. Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on Animal Crossing before we move on?
None from me.
See if I can. It's all blurry. But this thing looks dope as fuck.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah. Dope. All right. Next up, PlayStation had a state of play this month. Some decent stuff was shown in it. Did you guys end up watching it, checking it out?
I didn't watch it, but I did look up one of the games that John let me know was announced, and I'm very excited for it.
All right, I'll just go through the list real quick. Speed run through this. Astrobot DLC coming this fall. We have Helldivers and Stellar Blade bots coming, confirmed. Sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei coming 2025. Horizon Zero Dawn remastered. Lego Horizon November 14th. Talked about the PS5 Pro. PS5 Chroma collection was announced. 3 colors: pearl, indigo, teal. October PS Plus games. October is actually a really dope month. You get WWE 2K24, Dead Space remake, and Doki Doki Literature Club. Alan Wake 2 DLC, The Lake House, Archage Chronicles, Dragon Age Veilguard. They went over Dynasty Warriors Origins, Fantasia Neo Dimension, Fear of the Spotlight, a Fortnite DualSense that just looks ugly, but has a banana on it, so I feel like John now has to buy it. Hell is Us, Hitman World of Assassination VR, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered, December 10th that comes out. Lunar remastered collection, Metro Awakening VR they showed. Finally got a release date for Monster Hunter Wilds, February 28th. Pal World Shadow Drop, Stellar Blade update, plus a future Nier Automata DLC, The Midnight Walk, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Radical Reptiles, which features Mondo Gecko and Mona Lisa, Tower of Oxaba. But yeah, I will just say that. And then last but not least, Sonic X Shadows Generation saw more of that with the confirmed Keanu Reeves voiceover DLC tie-in. So a lot of stuff. John, what were your thoughts on this?
That state of play was probably the best thing I've seen in a long time. Not only did I get confirmation on the date for Monster Hunter Wilds, which is like my most anticipated game so far of 2025. It's coming soon. It's coming in February. That's not too far from now. I mean, we're in basically in October now. Um, there's a couple things that stood out to me, and I know this one got Mark excited. Was the Arcade Chronicles, which looks fucking incredible. It looks like Dragon Age if they did it right. Um, another thing is I'm gonna have to play Stellar Blade now because it's doing a crossover with one of my favorite games, which is Nier Automata, and I'm going to have to play it for the photo mode so I can use those cool poses, just the cool poses. I'm not going to use photo mode for anything, just the cool poses. Um, uh, yeah, there was tons announced. What else? Ghost of Yotai, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I didn't play much of Ghost of Tsushima. I played like the multiplayer with you guys, but this one looks incredible. Like it looks crazy. It looks beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited for a lot of things that they announced, and honestly, like they blew Nintendo out of the water for sure because their last their last update was not too good. So I think PlayStation's winning. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I didn't end up watching it till later Tuesday night. It was funny. So I had spoiled on like Twitter, Ghost. I had that spoiled for me, but I was just like happy that we finally get the reveal. That I was just like, I don't give a fuck. But then I saw an image of like the Chrome collection, and I messaged Anthony. I was like, "Have you watched this yet? Because I want to ask you if you've seen something." He's like, "Yeah, I watched it." I'm like, "Dude, you're finally getting a green controller," and then his response is like, "It's teal." And I'm just like, well, like the image looked green. Like I'm just going based off of an image, like. But
Oh, jeez.
it was a funny moment. It was a funny moment. But yeah, no, the Astrobot DLC sounds sweet. It's gonna have like speed runs in it that you can try. Again, like Ghost is the biggest thing. I really love the first one. Like this second one looks fucking beautiful. Those graphics. I know a lot of people were being not a lot of people, but a vocal minority were very upset with the decision to go away from Jin's story and go into a new story for a female character. But like, I'm cool with how they left things off with him, story wise, without spoilers. Like, he had a really fulfilling and incredible journey that I'm interested now to see what they do with a new character and like what her journey ends up being. And I like this idea of Ghost being an anthology series where just like it's different timelines, it's different characters and different experiences. Yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds. Like at first, I was annoyed because I'm like, they keep showing us Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm excited, but like, don't overshow it. Like it reminded me. It was getting to the point. It was reminding me, John. I think you would appreciate this with Deathloop, where they just like every showcase, like, hey, here's more Deathloop. But like, this was justified because they finally gave us the release date for Monster Hunter Wilds. I was like, okay, that's all right. You gave us the release date. I'm okay with that. Let's see. I'm kind of interested in the DLC for Alan Wake. I did end up pre-ordering Dragon Age because like I managed to get like $9 off it, and like I've been hearing really good things about the gameplay. So if anything, I think that might be a fun experience. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered, I definitely want to play. I used to have one of them on PC as a kid, but I did not know how to play the game at the time. But I just find that character design so iconic and nostalgic that I want to give those games an honest try. Yeah, I think like for me, I think that's like the notable stuff that really kind of got my attention. So like out of everything we talked about, Mark, what's got your eye?
So well, before I get into the arcade one, the VR game you mentioned, the Hitman thing, that does actually sound pretty interesting, and I think I will be looking that one up, keeping an eye on that. But Arcade Chronicles, so I played an MMO long time ago. This is back like high school days, where like all these free ones were popping up, and we'd always be playing them. And Arcade was the one where, like, as you were saying earlier, I did do that thing where I kept on crashing the market. That's where I started doing that, was in Arcade. And they already said they're going to have a housing system with farming in it and creation again. So the moment they said that, I'm like, I have to get this game and I have to do that again because it was genuinely so much fun. Just like in all, so the gameplay on it looked pretty fun as well. So like I'm pretty curious because like the last one was like a proper MMO format, like magic and all that stuff. But they did have an interesting sort of way to do it, where it was you had you picked 3 classes and then you leveled up those classes. So it wasn't just like you're a fighter, you hit things really hard. You could be a fighter, black mage, and then like debuff mage as one thing, and or you could be like a white mage, black mage, debuff, or you could be like a red mage with this. So like any sort of class, like you picked 3 of them, and then you had access to all 3 of those skill trees. So when you leveled up all 3 at the same time, and like you can get some crazy synergies going. So I will be curious to see if they're continuing with a sort of classing system like that. Even if they don't, the gameplay still already looks pretty fun. So like I'm already sold on it, but if they continued with that and then found a better way to kind of structure that and have that go, I will be very, very interested in playing this game to an obsessive degree when it comes out. Uh, I know John's already in for it, so we'll make a guild, and then I'm going to crash the stock market all the time. We're going to make tons of money, and I'm very much looking forward to that game because like it was a lot of fun. Another thing I am interested to see if it's going to be a one-time purchase or if it's going to be a subscribe model, because the last one, like, you could play it for free, but then there was like a monthly subscription service where you got like a premium feature, where it's just like then you had more energy to do. It's like there was one thing in the game to earn money. It was resource delivery, and it's like you buy these resources from this one city, and then you had to walk it to the next city. But like you could put like an auto walk on it, it would just follow the trail there. But like the only way to get that done faster was like once you got enough money, you could build a vehicle, and then the vehicle you could store like multiple things in it. There was one time I was doing that though, where like people can just get in your vehicle if you're not in it. So I was trying to help a person we were playing get on top of the vehicle because like I think only two people could actually seat in it, and we had three people. So we're trying to help them get into it. So they had to get in, get out, and then you would get out on top of it and get it, and then they'd start running on it. And they couldn't quite get that to work. And then some random person jumped in my car and stole our stuff. We freaking were chasing them down for like 45 minutes and we didn't even get our stuff back.
You
But
got
like
car
it's just
chased.
like a fun mindless game, and like so like the subscription would be like that, like each time you did that it would cost like energy points, and so like you can only do that so many times a day. If you had the subscription you regained energy like at triple the speed. So like, and you also got like other daily perks as well. So I'm curious to see if it'll be just like a one-time pay thing or if we're going to continue on that sort of model. But yeah, like the first one, I had so much fun. But like, unfortunately, when we started playing it, it was still in kind of like the beta stage. So there was a lot of stuff that was not out yet in it. But it was really fun regardless. So like we played until we maxed everything out and like there was nothing else for us to do. That's pretty much when we stopped playing. So like it was a really fun game that I sunk a bunch of hours into, and like just like the guild people that from like our school that were playing was a lot of fun to play. So really looking forward to that game. The ghosts one, I do believe one of the people who sometimes appears on Dimension 20 stuff, I think it's Erika Ishii is the
Voice
voice of the
actress?
lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of makes me wanna to get into that game and play it as well. So I I'm pretty sure the first Ghost of Tsushima is on the catalog, right?
Yeah, it should be the PS5 upgraded version. Yeah.
So I think maybe I'll have to give that a nice little spin before it comes out and see what all the hubbub is about for that game.
It's a
But yeah,
fucking beautiful game.
Arcade's definitely the number one announcement for me personally. I'm just really excited to see how similar it is going to be to the first one that they made, and just what kind of stupid shit that I can get up to in that game.
Yeah, like yeah, I definitely like going back to like that state of play, like to echo what John said, it was a solid state of play. Like, um I don't know if anybody ended up checking out the Xbox thing they had for Tokyo Game Show. Um from my understanding, like the biggest thing they talked about was just like StarCraft remastered and StarCraft 2 on Game Pass Windows. Nothing really notable. So like and yeah, like to echo what you said, John, I think at least Tokyo Game Show wise, out of like the big three, I think Sony had the best presentation for sure. Because like when you look at that list, like it was a lot of games, but like in a nice condensed time where I think nothing really ever stayed its welcome. It went by quick. Each like thing they kind of just threw into the mix of it. Um, yeah. Any final thoughts on the state of play before we move on?
Maybe that's how I'm gonna have to try and remember to watch these things afterwards because I always forget. Then yeah, but like I need to actually start trying to pay attention to these things more because a few of the games that you mentioned do kind of pique my interest, so I may have to go and watch some of the trailers later. But yeah,
All right, next up, we got a trailer for Last of Us Season 2. It's about like 2 minutes. Like, obviously, Pedro Pascal returns as Joel, Bella Ramsey returns as Ellie, Gabriel Luna returns as Tommy. New actors playing characters from the games include Caitlin Trevor as Abby, Isabella Merced as Dina, Young Lizino as Jesse, Jeffrey Wright as Isaac, and then Catherine O'Hara as an unnamed character who she's always freaking funny. If you don't recognize the name, she was the mom in Schitt's Creek. For those who watched it, she was also the mom in Beetlejuice of Winona
Okay, yeah,
Ryder.
yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to come in 2025. Trailer looks dope. I'm excited for it. Look, I as you both know, I had my issues with the misadvertising of Last of Us Part 2 when it came out. I still stand by that frustration. I just hate when games do that shit where like they're like, and I hate when movies do it too. Like spoilers for Star Trek Into Darkness. I'm not gonna talk about spoilers for like Last of Us Part 2 because like obviously the show's coming
It's
out.
relevant, yeah.
Yeah. But like Star Trek Into Darkness, J.J. Abrams just like Benedict Cumberbatch isn't Khan. He's not Khan. He's not Khan. Like 5 minutes into the movie, Benedict Cumberbatch, I'm Khan. Like you just like it's stupid. I hate when they like. I get they want to try to avoid spoilers, but like just don't answer the question. Like just they don't respond to the questions. Don't lie. I just hate that shit. But anyways, John, did you watch the trailer for this?
No, I didn't watch the trailer. I wasn't a big fan of The Last of Us, the first game, so I didn't end up playing the second game. I've heard it has like a really good story, so maybe the show is the way to go for me. So maybe I'll check out the first season, see if I can. I have a hard time watching shows because I'll watch them and then something else will come up and I'll just stop watching them. They have to be really short, like almost like anime, where it's like just short episodes here, here. That's it. Um, like I tried watching through all of Shameless, and that didn't work out because there is a lot of it. Um, but yeah, maybe I will check out the trailer. I do know some like a lot of the spoilers from the first game, so I mean, it won't really like shock me if I find something out in the trailer. Um, yeah, I might check out the show. I do like Pedro Pascal, so I mean, I'll give it a go.
He kills it as Joel.
Yeah.
Fantastic performance. Mark, what are your thoughts? Do you check it
Honestly,
out?
I didn't know that. I didn't see the trailer. I just found out about it right now, and I'm really excited because it is a great series. And as you said, like Pedro Pascal, fucking like he's a great, phenomenal actor, and like I thoroughly enjoyed his portrayal of Joel. And I'm really excited to see how the new season goes. Like I played through the game, so like I know what should happen. So, but I'm just really excited to see like how everything actually plays out in that sort of thing, and see just how they bring that onto the screen and just kill another season of that. So the one thing I am kind of fearful for is the actress playing Abby. I hope history doesn't repeat itself and people just start bullying this poor woman for just portraying this role. Because I know people, I think people went after the voice actress who played Abby and freaking, the standard sort of death threats and like, how dare you, blah, 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 all nonsense. Like, just let this person do their job. If you hate the character, they did a good job. That's not who they are. But yeah, I'm really excited for the show, and I'm excited to see how everything plays out. And yeah, hopefully another good season of Pedro wowing us with his performances.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were frustrated with him getting cast as Reed Richards for the Fantastic Four movie, but like I love him in everything, so
Yeah,
I'm excited to see like his portrayal as that.
yeah. I think like if he's cast as something, like you can't judge it before you see it because like there are certain castings where it doesn't make sense. Like I think it's like you'll probably agree with this one. Like I'm not a big Venom fan, but when they cast what's the guy's name?
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace as him, like I don't know because like I think we've talked about this. You weren't a big fan of that casting, right? Or were you?
No, because
Can't remember.
so Eddie, like look at a good example is a comparison of like Tom Hardy versus him, right? Tom Hardy is a much better choice for the character because Eddie Brock was always up until like in the comics when he got cancered and lost like the muscle, but he was always like a beefy, like strong character. Like they went for like a
Yeah,
mirror of Peter Parker with Spider-Man 3, where it's just like they just took like Wish version of Peter Parker and made him like
yeah.
Venom. Like not to
So they're like,
disrespect Topher Grace, I do like him in other
yeah.
stuff, but
I like for me not really knowing the whole Venom lore, I didn't mind him as a character, but like when you actually find out how things are supposed to be, it doesn't match and like it's like why did you go in that direction for this character when as we've seen with the current Venom movies and Tom Hardy, like he fucking does amazing. Like that like looking at those two castings now, it's just like why would you ever go in that other direction when you could have had that originally, right? But then again, like you can't really compare the two movies because this was one focusing on Venom as like the main character, so it definitely would have been portrayed differently in that movie. But like there are always better options where like you're just kind of going for a name here versus like a personality that kind of will mesh best with the character. So anytime people like there as I say, like there are some where it's like, yeah, obviously this person should not have been cast for this, but there are other times where it's just like, just wait and see. Let's just wait and see how this goes. Because like I think Heath Ledger was a very good example of it with his portrayal of Joker. Everybody thought it was going to be horrible, and then it was one of the best Jokers of all time.
yeah, like I'll go on record, like I was one of those people. I was pissed when he was cast in the role. He proved me
Yep.
wrong, and I to this day I feel bad for even doubting the guy that he would crush it.
Yeah, and so it's like he's a good character, but like you can draw parallels to why he might not have been a right choice for it, but like he took the role very seriously and didn't just rely on like, oh, I've been in movies before, so people know who I am. He's just like, this is the role, I am going to crush it, and he is iconic for that role now. And it's this one of those things like, yeah, there could have been a better option, but you also weren't in the casting you weren't sitting there casting the role, so you don't know what they brought to the table until the table gets shown to everybody, right? That's just my personal opinions on that. But
Oh,
you know,
but yeah, for the actress who played Abby in the game, pretty sure it was uh Laura Bailey from Critical Role
yes,
who
yes.
got hit with it, like all that like abuse and all that, like
Because
verbal
I
abuse.
get that's the reason why I know it because I watch a lot of the clips and stuff from Critical Role, and I know she got a lot of flack for that. And it's like she wasn't even playing this character on screen as herself. She was voice acting.
Yeah.
People, calm the fuck down.
All right. Any final thoughts on Last of Us season 2 before we move on?
Excited to see it come out.
All right. I want to say a fun little topic, but it's like it's like it's a mixture of things because I feel bad for the people working on it, but I don't feel bad because of what happened in the past. So, you guys remember the days before, right? The shit show that was that game that within 4 days of it coming out, the studio got closed down. The game got removed from like Steam. It was a fucking disaster. So the developers of Days Before are wanting to do a comeback with what they're calling Fantastic 2.0. Here's like a quote from an article that basically had like they started a GoFundMe. They want people to fund their game. The people who made the Days Before. Everyone deserves a second chance. We deeply apologize to everyone for the day before and take full responsibility for what happened. Check out our plan, Fantastic 2.0, where we'll share how we'll fix our past mistakes and are preparing to return better. Fantastic has launched a Kickstarter campaign for its new title, Escape Factory, which appears to be an industrial take on the physics based multiplayer chaos of games like Fall Guys. Currently has 36 backers with $3,000 for the $20,000 goal. I mean, I get what they're saying. Like everybody deserves a second chance, but like the colossal nightmare that was the launch of that, like you couldn't like avoid that news on Twitter or like on Facebook, like anywhere you went, like even like TikTok, like that was like I think to this day, like when you look at the biggest bombs, like I know Concord bombed, but I think it's safe to say this game bombed harder than Concord for sure. Like, because
$1,000,000%.
at least at the end of the day, Concord was a game that worked and had. This was just like I remember like the videos people were posting of like the mess that was like the game and shit like that. But I feel for the team, like they want to make a game, but honestly, if I were them, I would have just dropped like anything to do with this game and like be like, hey, this is like a new studio, we want to make a game kind of thing. Avoid any PR attention that leads to the days before. But Mark, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I like as you just said, like their best option would have been to bury that studio name as deep as possible and like just try and start from as fresh of a slate as possible because like they're asking for people to fund a game where their last one didn't even work close to what it it was supposed to. Like I remember that, as you're saying, like I remember seeing so many clips of just how janky and busted this game was. And I didn't even like I never even looked up anything, but like TikTok exploded with shitting all over this game, and that was one of the most popular things to do for that given time. Like being like, hey, we're the people that made this game that basically stole all your money. Give us some more money so we could show you that we are worth it this time. Not a good idea. That to me is just like, why would you go down that route? Like that game was so fucking broken that it just got wiped off of the face of the earth, not because it like as with Discord as an example, not because like their player base wasn't there. Like Discord, you're saying it was a full game. It just they kind of missed the mark of what they should have done. But this one just didn't work. So I don't get it. I don't get why they would they would attach this new project directly to that old failed project. We'll see what happens, I guess, but I don't think that was a smart move at all.
Yeah, before I throw it to you, John, like the one initial thought I had when I was looking at the GoFundMe is, all right, you have 36 people currently backing the game, $3,000 around there invested into it. Part of me honestly like looks at that and goes like, I honestly believe, if not all, most of those backers are the actual developers themselves being like, hey, that's like it's all just put in a little bit to kind of like start us
Yeah,
off pretty
grease the
good.
wheels.
Yeah. But John, what are your
I had this similar thought.
yeah. John, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, you know it's not like returning people putting money into their GoFundMe, so I could imagine it's probably them. I didn't really see much about this game, but I did hear about it like just through the grapevine, and um, yeah, I don't think they deserve a second chance, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like it is a scam, and people are calling it a scam. I think I watched Asmongold like talk about it a little bit, and yeah, I don't. I think they're just they want money, so they're just gonna like you know put whatever bullshit they can out and try and get people's money into the GoFundMe, and then just do the same thing. There's no way they're not like they what did they do? Go to school after like they failed? They went to school, got better at developing a game, fired a bunch of people, hired some new people. I don't think like a small company like that. I don't think they would do that. So I can't see this being any better than their first time around. So I'll keep watch, and honestly, I'll follow the news. And if it does end up being a good game, I will 100%. I'll buy it. I like survival games if that's what they're going for. If that's what they're going to develop now. But
it seems like they're making like a Fall Guys type game.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I revoke my entire my entire speech there. Yeah, no, I'm not I'm not backing this at all.
Sean's just like,
Oh, man.
he's gone. Just like the game was gone. That was the crazy thing. Like going back to that. So like the studio shut down within 4 days of its release, but it took like a month for people to get the refunds, and that's only because like Steam stepped in and was like, because like the studio itself wasn't being like, from what I remember, they weren't like trying to refund people. Like Steam had to step in and be like, all right, you're getting your refunds. We're pulling this completely off the store. Like nobody's allowed to get it. Like it was
Yeah.
a shit show. It was, yeah.
It's crazy that's what had to happen.
All right. Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
Just if you're gonna make a game, make the fucking game. Test it and like, oh hey, this is a janky piece of shit. Don't release it. Just don't release it. Maybe go down that route.
Listen, Vampire Survivors. It was one guy who used to like develop software for slot machines, and he only charged $2 for this game. He I don't think he put that much money into the game because he was stealing assets from Castlevania, I believe. That guy is a millionaire now. Like one dude makes one game by himself and is a millionaire. These guys need a GoFundMe. Like I don't like just make something. Just make anything. I was thinking about doing it. I'm gonna make a game right now. Fuck it. I'm doing it. Back me. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe. I can't promise to go anywhere, but
called Survivor Vampire and steal his assets.
no, I'm gonna make a Dracula liver, and you guys are gonna buy it for $5. That's it. That's the only. Yeah. Just back me, okay?
Gotcha.
And John immediately has $3,000. Yeah, backed. He's already good to go. All right, final topic. We're almost out of here. What are you guys looking forward to playing come October? So here's what we have to expect. Throne and Liberty, SpongeBob SquarePants The Patrick Star Game, Until Dawn PC the remake, Silent Hill 2 remake, Diablo 4 The Vessel of Hatred expansion, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Metaphor ReFantazio, Europa, Just Dance 2025 edition, New World Eternium. It's like the console release for New World. Neva, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Unknown 9 Awakening, Fear the Spotlight, Date Everything, Sonic X Shadows, Generations, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Dragon Age The Veilguard, and Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Mark, what are you looking forward to playing next month?
I would have to. So, like, I would say this is kind of a two-pronged thing for me because, like, there are two games I'm looking forward to. One is I'm really excited to play with you guys. The other one is for the game itself. Like, I think Metaphor is definitely going to take like the top like game I'm excited for as like just the full game process itself. But to play with you guys, like I am excited to play zombies and stuff with you guys in Call of Duty Black Ops, which I know I've said several times I will never get another one ever again, but I will get it for the boys, and that's what I'm doing, and I'm really excited to play zombies with you guys again. So like for that one alone, I'm excited just to play with you guys, get some zombies and stuff in. But as like a game as a whole, Metaphor ReFantazio for sure.
All right, John, what games are you excited to play next month?
Date me. I'm just kidding. Two games that I'm really excited for. Make it three because Call of Duty I'll just throw in there. Sorry, Call of Duty Doody. Metaphor ReFantazio because I love Persona. I love the Persona games. I I completed 5. I'm working on 3, the reload. And my second one is Silent Hill 2 remake. There's a good reason for that, is because most people started off their survival horror game love with Resident Evil, like the first Resident Evil. Me, personally, it was Silent Hill 2. I played the fuck out of the game. I love that game. The atmosphere, the story, just phenomenal. I know the story. It's not going to stop me from playing this one because they said it's a reimagining, right? So it's probably going to be a little bit different. But yeah, that's the game that started me in my survival. Like, I went back and played Resident Evil because I like Silent Hill 2 so much. I didn't play like Silent Hill 1 ever. I don't know why. Maybe it was just inaccessible to me. But yeah, those 2 games and Call of Duty.
Duty.
Good old Call of Duty. Yeah, so for me, for sure Call of Duty. I'm excited for Black Ops to play zombies with you guys. And like I always like the Black Ops like multiplayer, so getting a feel for that again. I am excited for Dragon Age. Like the more and more I've heard people talk, like I said earlier, talk about like the gameplay and it seems to be a really solid experience. I do have some hope for it and I'm excited to try it. I think eventually down the line I will get Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Like just because it's Dragon Ball, but like I don't think I'll get it this month in October. I do want to get the Silent Hill remake. I do want to play that. I've never experienced Silent Hill 2, so I'm excited at the opportunity to do that. So yeah, I think I will be playing that. Which actually that comes out next week, right? Next Friday, I think. So yeah, I think I'll be picking that up. And honestly, I I have hope. I'm just gonna say this right now. If they can just make the Patrick Star game just like as good as like Battle for Bikini Bottom or something, it's just because I love Patrick Star. Like a game just like focused on him. Like I just like it doesn't have to be amazing. Like I'm a guy who played Lord of the Rings Gollum. Like I like, like just like make it playable. Like which like Lord of the Rings Gollum wasn't even playable, but like just like make Patrick Star a fun time. That's all I hope for. But yeah, those are the games I'm excited for. I Metaphor, I think I will give a try down the line. I don't know. Like I've tried in the past to get into Persona, it's never really clicked, but like something about this game seems a bit more appealing. Yeah, like October is looking like a pretty somewhat decently stacked month just in terms of variety for stuff that's coming out. But yeah, I'm surprised nobody said Diablo, you know? Like I'm sorry. Honestly, like with Game Pass, maybe I'll try it out. But if I get hooked on Silent Hill remake, I don't 2 remake. I don't think that'll happen.
The initial experience of Diablo being so much fun, and then playing it while they nerfed the fun into the ground. I just can't get back into it. There's nothing I can do for that.
That platinum trophy will forever haunt me. Of like,
Well, yeah, it's funny because my brother actually just started getting into Diablo 4. I was talking to him about it today. I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, I can never play that game again just because like when I first got it, it was so much fun. Like we had a blast playing it, and then they're just like, oh, these streamers who this is their entire job are doing these hard bosses in about half a second. We need to make them way harder. And then just nerfed the casual player's experience into the ground, where it's like, you either dedicate your entire life to this, or you will never get past fucking any of the endgame content now. It's I'm not like I would say I'm a little bit past the casual player point for most things, but when it becomes legitimate work to be able to do the game, I'm not in for it anymore. I don't want to play.
no, that's fair. That's yeah. That's yeah. Eh, There's just so much I could say about just like the annoyance of that game and everything. But let's just try to stay positive and just not go further into it. All
Just
right,
leave it as the stinky mess that it is.
pretty much. I mean, hey, you never know. Like maybe people will be like, "Hey, this is like what Diablo 4 needed." I doubt it, but you never know, right? Oh, you know what? There is something I wanted to tell you, Mark, that I don't know if you saw. They're doing like a My Hero Academia Overwatch crossover. They had an All Might
Interesting.
skin for somebody. I forget. Was it Reinhardt? I think they did the skin for. But it was just like I just thinking of Diablo Blizzard. I just remembered that. But
Reinhardt would make the most sense. That's the big tanky guy, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that would make the most sense for an All Might skin. That's interesting. I won't play it, but that is interesting.
All right. That has been another successful episode of the Guy Pop Podcast. I'm Chris. That's Mark.
Bye.
And John.
Come watch Guy Pie 2 on Guy Pie 2, Guy Pie Remastered. Ditch this channel. I mean, don't ditch this channel. Like, new episodes every Monday because I have to wait for the episode to come out so I can just post it again. Bye.
That's a way.